You ready for a night full of big fights and big action? It's UFC 303, and it can be even bigger. Jump in on all the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a fighter to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your fighter, and place your first bet. It's that simple.
The light heavyweight title is on the line in the main event, but there are so many more amazing matchups happening in Vegas. And speaking of amazing, if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Jenkins. That's code Jenkins for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Get that big fight feel only on DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
You ready for a night full of big fights and big action? It's UFC 303, and it can...
Welcome to Jenkins and Jonez on the Volume Podcast Network. It is Sunday, June 23rd, and we're very excited to be joining you for our House of Dragons Episode 2 breakdown. Before we get going, before we say another word, even of the intro, this is your spoiler alert for the entire episode. Is going to be discussing the entire Season 2, Episode 2 episode. So if you have not watched it, if this is auto playing in your car, hit pause, watch the episode and pick it back up. Or if you don't care, I respect that too. As always, Jenkins and Jonez, hosted by Dragonfly Jones, aka
hey,
Tyler.
Have a gun.
LaJethero Jenkins, aka John.
Bubbles, do I look red?
You do look a little red.
I think I was playing golf yesterday, man. Maybe did I get burned?
Yeah, you look suntan as a motherfucker.
Nigga, I look like a hot link, nigga. I look spicy as shit right now. Shit, what the fuck? I was like, nigga, I look red as hell. I ain't even damn. Anyway, let's continue.
I'm Guardy B, aka Mike.
You feel me? Left me in the boiling water a little bit too long, brother. God damn, what the fuck? The undertones is cracking, goddamn shit. I look orange in this bitch, nigga. Motherfucking Mikael, nigga.
I wasn't gonna let it. If you missed it, I wasn't gonna let it go. So thank you.
I was gonna try and skip over it. What if the lighting in your new house? Like, what if you just look red all the time?
Bro? We did last time. I didn't look red, bro.
We didn't want to say anything, but like,
I'm ashy too. God damn.
We're produced as always by the lovely and talented Jackson.
What's up?
What's up? I need your prayer.
You look like you need some aloes.
In the back, like shit. We out here struggle bus. You feel me?
All right. Well, this is a very special episode for us to get to talk about because it was the fabled battle of the brothers.
Twinsies.
Twinsies. The homies Eric and Eric got after it. Obviously very emotional, tragic moment. I thought they did a great job of putting it together. And I thought that moment at the end was very beautiful. I just read an interview with the two twin actors who play the Erics.
Oh, they said were twins,
and they said
they might have been the same.
Yeah.
Thing. Okay, cool. I thought they might have did some.
No, they said they were. They said they were proud to have gotten to represent the special bond between twins in that moment at the end of the fight, which was beautiful. But what'd y'all think of it?
Yeah,
I didn't need that extra context, but go ahead. That shit.
Yeah, I thought it was a great ending to the episode. I feel like the House of the Dragon is 2 for 2 so far with episodes. Great way to bring it all home. The fallout of that is kind of what's most interesting here to me, because you saw that Sir Christian Cole sent him, and Aegon was just like so impressed that he took that initiative, and him and Otto on bad terms. He was like, "Hello, you are no longer the hand. Give me a badge for Sir Christian Cole." This motherfucker. and which is a very dumb mistake, because Otto is a brilliant character. He sees the big picture, right? Like, this episode picked off where we were at last episode, where we were like, where we realized, the monsters that this show turns us into. Because I was like, motherfucker, you don't want to parade your dead baby through the streets? I was like, dog, you don't see the big picture here? Like you got to win the PR war here.
Opportunity, nigga.
You have got to win the PR war. Get that dead baby in those streets, bro. And he didn't see that. And Otto saw it. And then Aegon fucked it all up by killing all the rat catchers, right? Like just threw all that goodwill out the window and parading their bodies publicly. And you saw their families out there grieving. And Otto was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? And then Aegon was just beaming with the plan that Sir Christian Cole laid out. And Otto was like, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. He called that shit
a prank.
He called it a prank. He was like, this Full House, Mary Kate, Ashley Olsen shit. Like that's how we're gonna win this. So yeah, it's I think the most interesting thing of this episode is it looks like Aegon has fully leaned in to being the iron-fisted monarch here. What he says goes, and he does like I said earlier, he lacks a vision of the big picture. So that's going to be interesting to see how things develop with that.
We were talking in the group chat. We like alluded to it a bit in the last episode about how they might have fumbled that scene. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think they did exactly what they were supposed to do in this episode to make up for that, where they showed the chaos that ensued after that situation. I felt the distraught from the character. So I would say they didn't have to, to be honest, when they showed the baby's head, I said baby because that's a baby to me. That's a 6-year-old head sewed together. That was honestly a little bit too. I mean, for me, I made my stomach hurt. I'm like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
No, I was gonna ask y'all about it because when they showed that scene, Shar and I definitely simultaneously recoiled, and immediately in my head I was like, "We saw enough last episode, bro."
I mean, I said I didn't need more of the gore. I would have liked more of the context. I think
but just the heft of it when they carrying out the baby's bed and it had the blood on it, the like you said, the head sewn on, and you could see the body like shaking as it's going through. Like,
I think our gripe with it was they had a moment to do perhaps the most gruesome thing ever in Game of Thrones history, and they left that on the table. But it doesn't derail the plot, right?
It doesn't derail the plot
because the whole thing is there are ripple effects that are felt through that house due to that traumatic event, and the trauma is still there. Baby still got killed, right? So there's still that path there for them to show how the trauma from that will affect things going forward, and I'm sure they will.
I think
everyone's acting like if you've ever been around any family or your own family that's going through a tragedy, everyone in tragic times acts more like themselves than they do at any other time of their life. And I think that was the theme throughout this episode was Rhaenyra was hurt and emotional and caring about how could you do this to a kid. The people who are cruel became crueler. Otto Hightower immediately pivoting to the fucking PR campaign.
Politics.
Aegon, like you said, like his impetuousness, his how impulsive he is, he immediately became even more of that. Like, okay, what's the latest thing someone's told me? That's what I think now. So I feel like they played up the emotion of how that came through for sure. And Otto Hightower, not always my favorite character on the show, but you got to say he was a real one in this episode. He had the correct PR campaign. And when his daughter put her hand in his and said, "I've sinned," he said, "I do not wish to hear of it." I am leaving for business, Old Town.
You know what I mean? I respect that. I feel like when I like watching this show, I feel like the only character that seems solid to me is Rhaenyra. You know what I mean? Like she's the only person that has any sense. She had a chance to be the person running the show, and I mean that kind of to me mimics real life how it happens. Where where like a lot of times the person that is of great quality does not get the opportunity to go ahead. What are you saying?
I'm on her side, but I don't know that I can agree with you just because you're sending your baby children out on dragons to venerate your name, and you lose one of them
to his cousin.
And your response is,
you know what I mean?
Your response is like, I gotta keep going. It's like I'd be in Essos, in a nice house with my remaining family, never talking to anyone again ever for the rest of my fucking life.
Yeah, I think an interesting thing to take away from this episode is it kind of hammered the point home that so many times in like the history of war and warfare that major moves are taken out without the approval of like the highest powers, right? Because Otto wouldn't have signed off on that twin shit. Rhaenyra wouldn't have signed off on Daemon's plan, but shit, they both happened, and now it has escalated things to an even deeper level.
Yeah, I mean, I think like reading George R. R. Martin's books. I'm not going beyond anything that's been in the show so far here, so no spoilers. But there's obviously Game of Thrones gets compared to Lord of the Rings because all fantasy epics get compared to Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, I think, is incredible. I think Tolkien's ability to build a world is incredible. But the metaphors and analogies in it are pretty simple. Good is good, bad things are bad, evil is evil, and it's a World War II analog, so that makes sense. The evil was pretty obviously evil in World War II. The dragons in the warfare, if you're looking for an analog, are like nuclear weapons. And there's Targaryens through history who struggled with this of like, well, if I want to affect good, I need power to affect good. But the power comes with its own cost. Like that's it to me, it's much more intellectually interesting. And I think you just hit it on the head because that's exactly where this is going. Once those dragons come out, and they've all said it like multiple times throughout the show, and there's no winners. You don't get to, dragon's not an arrow. You don't get to point it at someone and it hits that person and then it's fucking over. It's you let the dragon out of the cage, you let the dragon out of the cage. You know what I mean? So I think you just highlighted what to me I think is almost the theme of the whole show, Tyler.
Yeah, like and we saw the preview for episode 3 where it looks like Rhaenyra and Daemon are talking about, actually leveling it up to dragons. Rhaenyra is like, once we bring dragons into this, there's no going back. Like we are signing up for our destruction. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing with nukes, right? The mutually agreed destruction shit where if you bring these weapons of mass destruction in and the other side has weapons of mass destruction, then it's just going to level shit up to a very, very gruesome level. So I'm interested to see how that plays out.
What do you think is going on with Daemon? Like, is his loyalty not with Rhaenyra? I don't know. I mean, obviously, next episode.
I think she's stuck in between the eyes. With that, like,
pathetic,
like my dad didn't trust you because you're fucking crazy for the same reason I can't trust you, and him like, no, you're weak. And it's, I don't know. There's arguments we made in both directions, but I thought she stuck in a fucking good one with that.
And as far as like the kid who was beheaded, crazy. We were laughing so much last time after seeing that image. Like, I feel bad even talking about this, shorty, that shit was crazy. But, how was his what was his relation to Rhaenyra? Was that like her nephew?
He's the uncle husband now. The
uncle husband.
The husband.
Okay. Shut the fuck up, please.
Let's not do Targaryen.
He's the husband. He's the husband who signed off for Aegon's neph's son, son feud to get killed.
Nigga, wait. Okay, look, trip about this. Her uncle is Rhaenyra's uncle is Daemon, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. But Rhaenyra's
her dad's brother.
Dad's brother, her uncle. That's what uncle is, right?
Yeah.
Mom's brother, dad's her brother. Okay, anyway, nigga, y'all don't do this to me. All right, I'm trying to figure this shit out for real, motherfucker. Let's talk about some her son and all this shit. Nigga, fuck all of that.
Husband or uncle, whatever.
I don't want to hear that ever again in my life. Okay. All right, so her brother is the king, right? And that was his son.
Who was her?
Rhaenyra's brother.
Rhaenyra's dad was the king.
Rhaenyra's dad was the king.
Rhaenyra's dad was Viserys.
Yeah. The king in the last season.
Yeah, but the king now is her brother, correct?
No.
I'm not tripping.
Well, yeah,
her half brother by her dad, her dad.
Okay,
but it's Alicent's son.
Okay.
And so Alicent became her best friend. Alicent became her stepmom when she married.
So it's her
her dad.
No,
dad's head was beheaded by her uncle.
It's her. It's her half brother. But Aegon and Helena are brother and sister, so that was Aegon's son feud.
Wait, okay. I'm saying this. Okay, this one. She is fucking her uncle, right?
Yes.
And it was her half brother's son who was killed. Yes. So that her uncle killed her half brother, got her half brother's son beheaded.
Can you believe it?
Yes.
Not my uncle's half brother's son.
Do you feel like that helped you, John, or got you more confused?
If it's one thing, that helped
me. I just wanted to see like what was the relation to Rhaenyra, But yeah, I mean, because it's just so much, of that seasoning they got going on in they shit. You feel me? But yeah, that's
on the scale of 1 to 100 on the hate-o-meter. Where are we with Kristen Cole after episode 2?
Listen, like, I cannot believe Aegon made that motherfucker the hand.
He's
Like
a
you,
bitch.
you are appointing this dude to be your most trusted advisor. When we saw the plan he had for his life, is he thought a queen to be was going to run off with him and sell apples and cinnamon, oranges and cinnamon. like this motherfucker doesn't get it, dog. Like,
He's Aegon. He's fucking your mom, bro.
Aegon's such an idiot.
While your child was being murdered, he was fucking your mom. And when they asked him about it in the council meeting, he said, quote, "I was abed."
He was like, "Abed." I was like, "Buddy, you knew."
The
You
nigga,
might need to put some more exclamation marks on that motherfucker when you yell.
Right. But the idea that he brought him with Eric sneaking into the castle, pretending to be the twin. Like, bro, that's some that's some Scooby-Doo ass
they
shit.
They should have played the Pink Panther theme music that whole time during that scene.
Bro, that is nigga, that is ridiculous. And he was just so excited about that fucking move, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know, G. But fuck.
Tyler, what's the name of the woman from Mir?
You
What's
said
that?
what?
That shit that Rhaenyra freed. What's the name of the woman from Mir that Rhaenyra
Shit, they call it the white worm. That's what they call it. Yeah.
The white way. Yeah. Yeah. Like, she just can't help knowing shit, bro. She's not even trying to know this one. She wasn't even trying to uncover this plot. She's just like, she can't help it. It's just shit. That's her super.
Is she? So she's the one that told the brother, like, "Yo,
she was like, hold up.
Yeah, I saw the hold
Give
up.
me a second.
But I didn't know if she. I didn't. Yeah. But
yeah. So she, she looked out for Rhaenyra because Rhaenyra spared her life. She was like,
yeah, for sure.
got your back. Favor for a favor. But
yeah.
Good episode though. Good episode.
Yeah.
Bro.
I will say one thing. There was one thing I hated about the end of the episode, and it's not necessarily on House of the Dragon writers. It's more so of a trope that we see all the time. And I feel like it only happens with white women in cinema. The whole, "Oh, I hate you. You made me so mad. I'm gonna beat you. Oh, let's make out." Yeah, we all knew that was gonna happen, and I fucking hate that trope so much. Like, you got slapped in your face 4 times, like, "Ooh, this is so hot. I want to kiss you right now." Like, bro, who the fuck lives like that? I hate that trope so motherfucking much. I just groaned in my living room, like, when I saw she slapped your ass up, and then you just made out with her and got a handful of the pussy too. After you got a point in the hand, you got a handful.
But she be bathing. We saw she be bathing. She might be the only one in the whole motherfucking. You know what I'm saying? To be bathing. So like,
he said he got a promotion and he had to go celebrate
with your mom.
He said,
"Oh." I do not like that motherfucker though.
He probably saw this shit in the movie, bro. He's like Jason Tatum trying to come up with an original celebration after the fucking finals. Like, he's just like, "Oh, she's gonna slap me and then I'm gonna make out with her. I've seen it 100 times. I'm gonna look so cool when I do it.
Slap me again. It's so hot. I want to kiss you so bad right now."
Maybe I'm crazy, nigga. That looked like passion to me, man. She couldn't resist.
Maybe that's how you've ended up. Maybe that's how you've ended up in some life circumstances.
We talked about it. You feel me? Rather's a godsend, I'll tell you that. But I did have fun, my boy. You hear me?
Oh man. Is Helena the first truly sympathetic character in the history of these TV shows? Like, just, and through this point, you just, every time she comes on, you're like, God, this poor fucking like, I don't know. I watched Game of Thrones all the way through. So I don't know, maybe there were people that you were fully just like rooting for, but she's the one where you're just like, she like when Allison's telling her like, "Oh, we have to do this and this," and she's just like, "Why?" She wants to. Why do we have to do that? I don't give a fuck about any of this shit. Like, I just was like, your heart just breaks for her, like a sane person who's not just trying to accumulate as much power and status as she can.
And also is cursed with like visions of when terrible shit is about to happen. Like,
and is also insane.
Yeah, like when the queen that never was crashed the coronation, and she was like, the beast is beneath the boards. Like she knew some shit was gonna happen, and I don't understand why she just did that shit. She just pulled up with her dragon just to blow some hot breath in that motherfucker's face, like not even fire, and then just flew off. And Damon talked about that shit in the episode. Was like, what the fuck was that about? You just crashed a motherfucking party and ain't killed nobody. Like, what? Why did you even do that shit? And then Helena was like, I'm
just to breathe the hot Cheeto breath in their face, Tyler, just to sting their sinuses.
Wow. I had the whole bacon hole smelling like goddamn raw sheep and shit. But but then the other episode, she was like, I'm scared, and they were like, of what? She's like, the rats, and the rat catcher knew the back routes, and the keep and shit.
And someone pointed out on Twitter that she was absentmindedly sewing her son's funeral shroud early in that episode as well. Wow. That becomes the funeral shroud. She was just doing it like without even realizing she was doing it.
Yeah. That made my stomach hurt too, the politics of it all. You know what I mean? Like that fucked me up as well. Like hearing like what they had to do. I know Otto had a great plan. It's a way to go about it in that situation, but it also made me think like, dude, fuck power. Fuck power and what you have to do in order to maintain it, to steer people's, to get to, to steer people's mind and get their support. Like that shit seems. I'm looking at a woman like you said, Helena, who just is distraught. Like knowing that she picked the child, the son, who's now beheaded, having his head sewn back on him. You know what I mean? And she has to sit behind him in a funeral procession. You know what I mean? Watching his head jingling, being connected by fucking yarn. Like nigga. Fuck that shit, G.
It's like Varys said during Game of Thrones, during that conversation with Littlefinger, it was like, power is an illusion. It lies where people believe it lies. And the people who wield power, efficiently understand that. Like that's what Otto was on. It's like, a tragedy happened to us. Now it's time to win the PR war. Let's march this dead baby out here, babe. You know what I mean? So
you need an Otto in that situation, in power, if you in this world for sure, in that world for sure. But to me, like as a human who never gave a fuck about power over anybody but myself, you know what I mean? It's just like what you have to do to maintain that just seems untenable. You know what I mean? Like I just could not live in that way.
I think that's why he let one go on his grandson. That was just like, you don't fucking get. He's like, all these people have done all this shit to put you in this position, and you are too fucking stupid
probably
to understand what it takes.
He's mourning as well. And he's like, yo, he's a human. You know what I mean? Yes, I'm making these decisions because they're necessary. But motherfucker, I'm sick too, and I want blood as well. But I know what needs to be done in order to win this shit in the end. You know what I mean? And yo goofy ass out here killing innocent people. Then he brought up to, like, we talked about Otto as a dickhead, but when he was talking about their sons and brothers, you know what I'm saying? And, and fathers, like, this is who you're killing. They're just not rat catchers. You know what I mean? So, yeah, bro. I mean, but yeah, I see why he felt so emotional in that situation. But I just like the political game that has to be played in order to win in this world is just crazy, bro.
I have a friend who is on the side of the Greens.
Why?
Like who's
what is his reason?
Read the book? No, and what is because here's the man. This is someone read the book.
Allison's
the
house.
the Height House.
The house with the baby.
Yeah. But I'll tell you why, Tyler. Their feeling was the book is written. The book Fire and Blood that this is based on is a history of the Targaryen family, and so his feeling was that the story is told from the Targaryen perspective. But this was his from like episode 2. He goes, would Otto Hightower be incorrect that if Rhaenyra takes the throne, Daemon is going to kill is going to kill the other kids? Like, is that incorrect? That's what the Targaryens, that's what's happened all through the history of Westeros. Like, you remove the other people. So, like, their feeling is they're acting on the legitimate threat of, hey, they're either going to rule or we're going to rule, but either we rule or we all get killed. And so we have to go for this and play it as hard as we can, basically. And if it was a history of the Hightower family instead of the Targaryen family, that it would have been like written more so as
do you
such.
Think Rhaenyra
I think that's fair.
I mean,
I don't think Rhaenyra is in charge of everything that happens in Rhaenyra's name. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's sort of but like to Tyler's point, that's kind of the history of this conflict and of obviously many real life conflicts as well. Like, but yeah, I mean, that happens right before Game of Thrones starts. That it's, like when the Targaryens are removed, it was, I mean, it was the Baratheon good guy people, right? Like they were in there. I mean, it was a Lannister. Oh no, it was a Lannister. Like, but I mean, they killed the babies, bro. Like that's what you have to remove the lineage from the throne. So there is some of that it's like, this is not unfounded paranoia that these people are all living in.
Did that happen in medieval times? Is that something that happened in real life at any point in history?
You talk about the restaurant?
You said
I still remember. I went up to a field trip with that shit like 6th grade. They gave me a whole ass Cornish, and that shit was delicious as fuck too. But yeah, I mean, I can see where your friends coming from, but it all comes down to the Hightower sees that throne, immorally. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Like for one, Otto lied about Daemon saying that toast to the heir for a day shit. He never said that. If it's one thing we know about Daemon is he is fiercely loyal to family, regardless of whatever other faults you have about him. So he said that to get Daemon out of the picture, and then he set up Alicent with Viserys, and then they had Aegon when the throne was promised to Rhaenyra. So I mean, yeah, I get the point, but it all comes back to that they seized the throne immorally. So I can never ride with
for sure. Oh no! I mean, fuck the Hightowers. I do respect the way Otto moved in this episode. I was disgusted by. I'll tell you the one thing I didn't like about the PR campaign, even though he was also correct, was we have to make the mom and the grandma go, but obviously we have to spare the king. You know what I mean? Like that was definitely some like, come on, man. Like you make a Helena do this shit. Like she was already, 1 foot in and out the door mentally, and now you're gonna make her go right behind and make eye contact with her dead child as she parades through the streets. Like that's some fucked up shit, bro. I just thank God when they got that wheel stuck, bro. I was so sure that the shit was gonna turn over.
I thought the head was going floop, 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 rolling down the street. I'm like, damn, nigga. I was glad too when they did that hard cut. Thank God. You feel me? That was unnecessary.
What was the noise the head was gonna make?
Floop, floop, floop. I thought that motherfucker was going. We didn't need it, man. I'd seen enough, man.
They could have been worse on the. I will say they could have been worse on Blood and Cheese. Also, I was surprised at the cutaway from the king getting his revenge on Blood. You know what I mean? I was surprised that they gave us one whack and then cut away from that. I thought that was gonna be some. The mountain, like just some shit. I thought we were going to see some carbonated brains coming out. You know what I mean?
Laris laid out those torture tubes and that motherfucker started singing immediately. I do not play. He said, it was Damon. Damon did it. Damon had us do it. Yeah, bro. He was not in it for the long haul. I ain't mad at him.
It was a rat catcher. I don't know his name. Yeah. I'll tell you who it was.
Funny looking motherfucker. Didn't narrow it down, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did show more of that because I think like it was right after we saw the 6-year-old, you feel me, the nephew, son, uncle, whatever, the hussicle, whatever the fuck we took on that, you know what I mean, right after we saw the sewn head, and I was just I think I'd seen enough. I was actually glad they didn't show that too. I was thinking I'm glad they didn't show more of that. Yeah.
So you're backing off of your bloodthirsty takes from last week.
I think
the yarn did it. It was the yarn on the head. Yeah,
did it, bro. Like they're like, wait, we got something for you. We'll show a sewn head next episode, bro, to make up for what we didn't give you in that scene. Well, brother, I didn't need that. Okay. I apologize, nigga. That shit was crazy. I'm telling you, my stomach physically hurt. It wasn't like I was just like, I felt like I had physical pain seeing that. That shit was horrible.
In the chat, Mike Williams said we were acting tough last week, LOL, and Marlo said can't say your stomach hurt after asking for the baby to be headed, LOL.
Yeah, it hurt.
We wanted that one clean swipe, man. We really wanted that,
bro. I just said I wanted to see what the context y'all gave me. I didn't want to see any more of that shit. You feel me? But maybe I wasn't even built for that. Keep it a bean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Might not even be built for that.
It was funny. I think I brought this up on another pod last week, not the House of Dragons. I'm sure there's people who are just listening to these. It was funny reading the interview with the writers who were just like, yeah, I mean, we filmed as much as you're legally allowed to film with child actors because they do have to live through the experience and take the memories off of the set. Like, you can't do the lady who's pretending to be your mommy pointing at you or you. Like, that's literally what they said. They're like, there's very strict laws about what child actors are allowed to go through. And we did not want to cross any of those lines. So you're like, I'm a terrible
When you
person,
put it that way.
but yeah, for sure.
Jesus.
I didn't think about the kid taking home the
Jesus.
experience. You know what I mean? Mom, what's Sophie's choice? You know what I mean? Damn. Remember, she chose
it
you.
was, yeah.
Like waking up out of a fucking dream.
It was
this
a step back
motherfucking race car bed.
Yeah.
Lego dinosaur staring him in his face, nigga. That shit is fucking crazy. I didn't think about all that, dog. Yeah. Woo, shit. I was tweaking.
All right. There's one other scene that we have to talk about from this show, which was obviously we're brewing to, what's Aemon gonna do to respond, and what we got was his bird chest folded up, knees to chin in a whorehouse, getting some shit off his chest in this episode, saying he appreciated that Daemon saw him as such a threat as to want to kill him in his sleep. Tyler, what did you think of that scene?
Yeah.
That made my stomach hurt. That's what I would say.
It goes back to the discussion we had about how dragons are like, weapons of mass destruction in this, because this all happened because he just meant to, intimidate Luke with his dragon. The dragon said, nah, this motherfucker gotta go. When they killed Luke in season 1. So, that weight is just heavy on him. You could tell it was heavy on him from the moment it happened. He did not want it to go that far, and you could tell that he feels like he has, the blood of his nephew on his hands here too. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say Matt too. Nephew, is there something else in there too, brother? But go ahead.
But yeah. I think that Aemon and Daemon, they're just so perfectly matched up to go at each other, bro. I think
that battle's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, we're gonna have so much fun with the beef between those two.
He needs to keep the eye patch on though.
Nah, man, that made him look diabolical. You know what I mean? We need, when they fight, for him to take the eye patch
even
off,
fold it
like,
up
dramatically,
get
like
the nail massage.
take the motherfucking eye patch off, like, you know what I mean? Like that shit crazy though. That shit crazy. Also, but it was the line. There was a dope line in there too, where it's like when men with, like, I think when kings or people with power act out of,
when princes lose their temper.
Yeah, the little people are the people that pay. People like me. I mean, that was a bar.
A lot of moral instruction is being left to the prostitutes in King's Landing. Like, just like straight up, like no one else in that dude's life is telling him, like, don't forget other human beings exist, like from time to time.
I guess after somebody's empty. You know what I mean? That's a great time to spring a little sense in their head. They're a little open-minded at that point. You know what I mean? That post-coitus clarity. You know what I mean?
Didn't she try to have sex with him and he said no?
Not here. I just want to.
Not in the whorehouse, darling. This is our safe place.
No whoring in the whorehouse. Oh man.
Oh man. All right. Jackson, anything else in the chat?
The only other thing that I thought was interesting is I put a poll in which episode did people like more, episode 1 or 2, and 68% preferred episode 2. I think we're building.
Yeah.
We're on the right track.
Yeah,
we're moving towards. I think we're all excited for episode 3.
Yeah.
They're moving at quite a pace. I have to feel like they're gonna do some Game of Thrones shit here and tease us with the dragons. I can't, because if they jump straight into dragons at episode 3, it's gonna be crazy for the whole rest of the season. I bet we're gonna get a lot of people really upset at the concept of using the dragons for at least an episode, and then shit's gonna absolutely go nuts.
I think the House of the Dragon people seem to be very into cliffhangers. Like I think there's going to be the last scene is going to be like an insane dragon scream probably, and then it's to lead us into episode 4. You know, they're going to just keep pushing it back. I think.
Yeah.
I hope Cole dies in the most gory way you can legally. Like that's why I want to see the gore. You know what I mean? I didn't need to see the head sewn back on. I do need to see Cole disemboweled. You know what I mean?
You need to see that guy strung up by his guts. I'll tell you that.
I do. I want to see him hanging from the walls by his own small intestine. I would love to see that dog. That would be a beautiful sight. Fuck that nigga.
I love that we're an OSHA pod now. Like, I don't want to violate any labor laws. Okay.
According to the letter of the law,
keep it cool on set.
Due
Okay.
to his age, we can go this far. You know what I mean? Hey, man.
Oh shit. All right. Tyler, John, anything else from the episode we didn't get to? All right. Well, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you could have watched it on YouTube, youtube.com/@JenkinsandJones. If you're one of the people that's new on YouTube because we're doing House of Dragon stuff, please subscribe. We will be doing some other fun stuff coming up this summer, which I think we're going to talk about as soon as we're done recording. So we'll get to that. But stay tuned. We got more live episodes coming up sometime soon. And stay tuned to our social media accounts. We'll let you guys know when.
Are we doing Dookie Butt of the Week?
It's Sunday.
Indeed, brother.
It's definitely
my
summertime,
goodness.
bro. You enjoy yourself.
This is the longest I've spent looking at a computer. Yeah, for sure. In 4 days, for sure. Dookie Butt of the Week. Does anyone have one ready?
Shit, I can go.
Jackson.
Mine isn't anything special, but my Dookie Butt of the Week is the Apple TV Plus platform. Not because of anything wrong with the platform, but actually the opposite. This Jake Gyllenhaal show, Presumed Innocent, is so good, and I want them to drop every episode right now instead of making us wait a week like they're doing with most television shows. That's how television works now. I understand that, but I just want every episode out. It's so good. If you haven't watched Presumed Innocent, I would highly recommend.
What's the premise of it?
Jake Gyllenhaal is like a very successful prosecutor in Chicago, and he gets involved with a coworker, and then that coworker is found dead. So it's unclear if he did it or if he didn't do it. I'm not spoiling anything. That's the entire show.
Would you guys agree Apple TV has the highest batting average of the streaming services? I think everything I've watched on there has been great, and it doesn't feel like any of it's been super, super popular either.
Yeah, they got good stuff. Other than Ted Lasso, which was very popular.
How is Apple TV?
Ted Lasso is
you would think Apple TV streaming would be more popular, being that they have such good quality stuff, and we all have Apple. You know what I mean? Why?
I will tell you how. Because they tried to hire a good friend of mine away from one of the other streaming services from a very high up marketing position, and they literally their pitch to this person, to them, was, "We are technology people. We have spent a lot of money making a bunch of very good television shows, and we don't know what the fuck to do with it from this point forward. So we need someone to come in. But you can tell us exactly what you want us to do, because no one here knows what the fuck to do with this shit." So they literally within their company are admitting yeah, it's some, you know what I mean? I don't know, but I think it's you recommended Shrinking, which was Apple TV. That's Apple TV, right? That shit was so good.
Y'all seen Severance?
And I don't feel
really like Severance.
I haven't seen Severance.
All my friends love Severance. I haven't seen it yet.
I think more than anything, Apple TV is just a kind of a victim of streaming service subscription fatigue. I think people are just bro, I've got 3 or 4 streaming services I'm already paying for, and Apple TV is rarely one of them. Maybe if they bundle that shit with Apple Music and you do a $15 a month plan to get both or some shit, that might be the move. But
they give it to people free with the iPhone, Tyler, and it's still people who have Severance. What's that? You know what I mean? I just feel they just.
When I think of streaming, I don't think of Apple. I never think of Apple. You know what I mean? Right. And I have Apple everything. You feel me? I think they're fumbling somewhere, and it's probably marketing, like you were speaking to. But yeah, I think there's fatigue. But I think because we have so much Apple shit, it seemed like it would be top of mind. It's just not. Maybe they're just late to the game.
Yeah. John, your Dookie Butt of the Week.
Dookie Butt, bro. I'm not usually wanting to make one up real quick. Do you have one?
Yeah. No, Tyler, your Dookie Butt of the Week.
I think I'm gonna go with Birdman. Did y'all see him visiting that prison in Louisiana?
What happened?
Well, he visited a prison in New Orleans, and his whole thing was, I guess he went down there on some, I'm gonna put my money behind, trying to get people who were wrongfully convicted out of here and all that. And one of the prisoners asked him, he said he asked him, like, bro, are you gonna help us get some books in the law library so we can like study our cases? Like the exact word that this inmate used was, are you gonna be spending money on some literature for us? and Birdman said, man, I got all this money, I'm here, and this what you asked me? And he said, and no disrespect to reading books. What's reading books gonna do? No disrespect to reading books. And look,
that's not a sentence you can say, bro.
I get the angle Birdman was coming. Yeah. I get the angle Birdman was coming from. Was like, bro, I'm a powerful motherfucker with money. I can do way more for you than just reading a book is. But I understand the inmate's stance because celebrities don't give a fuck about you. You know what I'm saying? You got to take control of your situation in there. So I'm totally on the side of the inmate. Like, bro, get those dudes some law library books where they can study up on things and see how what infractions were committed in their trial. Because Birdman don't really give a fuck about you, and they saw right through that shit. Yeah, that man said no disrespect to reading books.
That's a crazy sentence.
That is wild.
Oh, Beatrice.
Beatrice.
I have a dookie butt that's really going to be a pivot to talking about an awesome dude. But my dookie butt would be the 4 Spanish football fans in Spain sentenced to 8-month prison sentences for racially abusing a black soccer player in Spain. His name is Vinicius Jr. And have y'all heard his quote about these people being prosecuted?
Yeah, I saw it.
What did he say?
This is, I'm just going to read it. It's one of the all-time greatest quotes. He said, many asked me to ignore it. Many others said my fight was in vain and that I should, quote, just play football. But as I've always said, I'm not a victim of racism. I am a tormentor of racists. This first criminal conviction in the history of Spain is not for me. It's for all black people. May other racists be afraid, ashamed, and hide in the shadows. Otherwise, I'll be here to collect. Thank you to La Liga and Real Madrid for helping with this historic conviction.
You need to be a Game of Thrones writer too when he stopped playing.
That's crazy.
Racist collector.
Like nigga. I'm a racist tormentor of racists. That's crazy, bro. Congrats to him and fuck them niggas, man.
Does the chat have a community? This will be our second weekly community.
The chat has offered a few options. There's some very funny stuff. As always, our chat is.
I feel like the chat's about to fuck up my topic list for the next show.
Our chat is always just hilarious. Our chat is so funny. First, I'm gonna shout out a few people from the chat. Ryan said that no disrespect to reading books line sounds like a Stephen A line, which is hilarious. What else we got? Which is true. So true.
I can totally hear that.
Which is such a good observation.
Totally hear that.
The homie Elijah said the Dookie Butt of the Week might be ESPN because they let Van Gundy go because they thought he would leave for a coaching job, and they hired Doc and JJ, who both left for coaching jobs. Barry Style said, I'm the Dookie Butt because I'm too young to realize that Presumed Innocent is based on a Harrison Ford movie of the same name. Did not realize that. And the best one that I'm going to nominate for the chat Dookie Butt of the Week is from longtime fan, frequent commenter, Rishi, who said, factually speaking, the Dookie Butt of the Week is everyone in Westeros. Not wrong there, brother. Not wrong there, brother.
Not one wet wipe should be found on the entire island of
no
Westeros.
Wet wipes, no bidets, no nothing, brother.
Tough times, man. You know, it's the little things. Be grateful as you enter the week. You know, be grateful for all these modern technologies we have that keep our booty holes clean. All right, that's all the time we got for Jenkins and Jonez.
That's how we ended the pod.
That's how we're ending the pod. And ended on a better note.
I ain't got nothing, bro. That's just crazy though. Keep our booty holes clean. Y'all have a good week.
Oh man.
Crazy.
All right, we'll see y'all soon. Bye.